Hey everyone. Today, I want to share with you a story that's not just about a music legend, but about the deep life lessons hidden in his journey. If you've ever heard the name Ozzy Osbourne, then you probably know he wasn't just the lead singer of Black Sabbath. He was an icon of heavy metal, a standout figure in the music world, and someone whose life was full of ups and downs. Ozzy was born in Birmingham, England, and his life wasn't easy from the start. He went through countless struggles before becoming the legend we know today. His story is filled with admiration and awe, but also moments of pain and turmoil. Who doesn't know the infamous moment when Ozzy bit the head off a bat on stage? That act became a symbol of his wild and fearless approach to music. But behind the madness was a man full of inner conflict, battling addiction, illness, and loneliness. Recently, we received the heartbreaking news that Ozzy Osbourne has passed away. A music legend is gone, and as always, people are talking about the cause of death. It's a hot topic across media platforms and among fans. But honestly, his death isn't just the final chapter of a long life. It's a powerful reminder of resilience and the inner battles we all face. Maybe you're wondering, how could someone like Ozzy, with so much talent and success, go through so many storms? A friend of mine once said, "Life doesn't always go the way we expect, but what matters is how we face it." And that's so true for Ozzy. Despite battling addiction and Parkinsons disease, he never stopped making music. He kept creating, kept giving his all to his passion. That, right there, is a true testament to the strength of the human spirit. What about you? Have you ever felt like life was just too much? Like giving up was easier? But something inside you kept pushing you forward? That inner strength, that grit, is exactly what we can learn from Ozzy. Imagine you're facing a huge challenge in life. Maybe an illness, a loss, or a deep emotional hit. What would stop you from giving up? Is it a strong belief in yourself? Or maybe a big dream that keeps you going? That's not just what Ozzy showed us through his life. It's something we can all carry with us on our own healing journey. Now picture this. You're sitting with Ozzy during the final days of his life, as his health fades from Parkinson's. And even then, you see him smile. You see him pushing through, still being true to himself. That's the image of someone who lived fully, not just for music, but for who he truly was. And here's the thing. You don't have to be a rock star or go through the same wild ride Ozzy did to learn something from his life. His resilience, his passion, his refusal to let struggles define him. That's something we can all learn from. When he passed, the cause of death might have been the final sentence in a long story, but what he left behind, from his music to his fighting spirit, will live on in the hearts of his fans forever. So let's take a moment to reflect on Ozzy Osbourne's life. It reminds us that every life, whether long or short, has incredible value. And if you're going through something tough right now, remember this: you're not alone. Ozzy faced his own demons and still chose to live with courage. What can we take away from Ozzy's story? The answer is already within us. And maybe that's the real lesson. Even when we're gone, the marks we leave behind, the values we share never fade. Ozzy Osbourne's health struggles. As many of you know, Ozzy Osbourne's life wasn't just about fame and musical glory. It was also a long and painful journey filled with serious health challenges. In his final years, he faced some of the toughest battles, not just physically, but emotionally too. One part of his story we can't ignore is his struggle with addiction. It was a big part of his life. Alcohol and drug abuse took a massive toll, not only on his health, but also on his relationships, his career, and precious time. But through it all, Ozzy fought hard to pull himself back. And that's what shaped him into the powerful, resilient man he became. I remember a friend once told me, "It's not about how many times you fall, it's about how you rise." And Ozzy, despite all the setbacks, always got back up. He kept searching for the light in his life. Surgeries also became a regular part of Ozzy's life. He went through multiple major operations, from spinal procedures to surgeries after accidents. These injuries limited his ability to perform during his later years. We all saw the shift. He was no longer the Prince of Darkness from the old days, but now he was a warrior, carrying the scars of a long fight with his own body. Things got even harder when he was diagnosed with Parkinsons Disease, a progressive neurological condition that brought more pain and loss as time went on. Parkinson's is a tough battle, not just for the person living with it, but for their loved ones too. But Ozzy had something special, a spirit that never gave up. You might be wondering, how did he keep going? How did he still show up for music despite everything? The answer lies in one thing: inner strength. And that's a powerful lesson for all of us. We may not be able to avoid illness or suffering, but we can choose how we respond to it. Ozzy chose to live fully, even when it hurt. And on top of all the physical challenges, there was also the emotional toll. Mental health is a big part of Ozzy's story. Through all the pain and uncertainty, he never let himself completely fall apart. Maybe you're thinking, if I were Ozzy, how would I deal with all of that? The truth is, we all have that strength inside us. You just have to find it in the small things, in what you love, in the reason you get up in the morning and keep going. For Ozzy, that was music. That was his family. That was the people who stood by him. When you look at everything he went through, it's clear. Nothing is impossible. Life can be brutal, but even in the darkest times, we can keep fighting. We can still love. We can still find joy in the little things. And Ozzy's story doesn't just end with the pain. One of the last messages he shared was about mental resilience, a reminder to everyone who's struggling that while illness might weaken the body, it can never break the spirit. So, if you're going through a hard time right now, just know this: you're not alone. Look at what Ozzy went through, and let his story remind you that you can keep going. Sometimes, it's not about how long you stay strong. It's about finding the courage to keep walking when everything seems hopeless. We'll always remember Ozzy, not just for his music, but for the way he kept fighting. Thank you so much for watching this video. Feel free to drop your thoughts in the comments below, or even share your own story. If you're on your own healing journey, remember, even the smallest steps can bring hope and light back into your life. Parkinson's disease. Back in 2003, Ozzy Osbourne got some news no one ever wants to hear. He was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. It's a neurological condition that seriously affects your ability to move and control your body. With Parkinson's, the brain cells that produce dopamine, a key neurotransmitter, start to break down over time. And when that happens, symptoms like tremors, stiffness, and trouble with movement start to take over. When people heard Ozzy had Parkinson's, it broke a lot of hearts. I mean, this was a man known for his powerful presence, wild stage energy, and one-of-a-kind performance style. Suddenly, he was facing a disease that literally limits how your body moves. It didn't just make walking harder, it affected his speech, his ability to perform, and the way he connected with fans during live shows. Now, imagine this. You're an artist. You've spent your whole life pouring your soul into music, lifting people up with your voice and your energy, and then your own body starts working against you. Imagine standing on stage in front of thousands of eyes, knowing your body might not cooperate. That would shake anyone. It could make you want to walk away. But Ozzy didn't. Even when he wasn't as agile as he used to be, he still stepped onto that stage. He still stayed connected to the music and to the people who loved him. Parkinson's may have taken a lot from him, but it never took away his passion. He kept releasing new music. He kept performing. Even when every single show was a battle, he kept showing up. One of the things I admire most about Ozzy is his resilience, his mental strength. Just think about it. Every step he took was a challenge. Every movement required effort. But he kept going. That kind of determination wasn't just in his music. It was in the way he faced life head on. I want you to picture this. You're standing in front of a massive door, and behind you is everything trying to push you back. Fear, pain, doubts. You might think about giving up, but then you catch a glimpse of light shining through the cracks of that door. That light? That's faith. That's the strength you have inside to keep going. Ozzy found that light. He didn't let Parkinson's drag him down. He found a way to keep walking forward, even when the road wasn't easy. And that's not just a lesson for him. It's a lesson for all of us. Life isn't always smooth, and the challenges we face can feel overwhelming. But if we can tap into our inner strength, our passion, and the little things that keep us going, we can rise above it all. So the next time you're facing something tough, I want you to think about Ozzy. Remember that nothing is impossible. He stood on stage, battled Parkinson's, and became a symbol of hope for millions. And you can do the same in your own life. The biggest takeaway we can learn from Ozzy Osbourne is this: no matter how hard life gets, you can keep going. With the right mindset, a fighting spirit, and a heart full of passion, you can get through anything. Other contributing health factors. When we talk about Ozzy Osbourne, we can't overlook the other major health challenges he faced throughout his life. One of the biggest ones, his long and painful battle with addiction. For years, alcohol and drugs had a grip on Ozzy's life, not just damaging his health, but also hurting his career, his relationships, and his overall well-being. Back in the early 1980s, Ozzy was the face of the wild rock and roll lifestyle. Late-night parties, endless highs, substance abuse. It was all part of his reality back then. But behind all that glamour were some brutal consequences. Addiction stripped so much from him: his health, his peace of mind, and at times, even his music career. There were moments of blackout drunkenness, hospital visits from overdoses, and long nights of physical and emotional breakdowns. Bit by bit, it all took a toll on his body. Picture this: a man with extraordinary talent, paying an incredibly high price for the wrong choices he made. Sometimes we forget how destructive bad habits can be, not just physically, but mentally too. And Ozzy's life was a clear example of that. Even though he was a legend in music, his carefree and reckless decisions early on came back to haunt him in some seriously painful ways later in life. The addiction didn't just break down his body, it weakened his immune system and made him more vulnerable to other illnesses. Add the stress, the pressure of fame, and the exhaustion of constantly battling cravings, and you've got a recipe for a life that's anything but easy. Even though he tried to push through, the damage couldn't be undone overnight. So what can we learn from all this? An unhealthy lifestyle leaves a long shadow, even when you try your best to fix it later. Sometimes we only wake up to the damage when it's already too late. But here's the thing: Ozzy did that really matters. He made a decision to change. He didn't get a full reset, but he found a way to take control, to slowly undo some of the harm, and to live with what he had left. One of the most powerful moments in Ozzy's journey was when he entered rehab and began his recovery process. He didn't hide his past. He talked about it openly, the raw, painful truth of what addiction had done to him. That honesty didn't just help him heal, it gave hope to others going through the same struggles. You might be wondering, how did Ozzy get back up after all of that? It came down to pure inner strength. When life pushes you to your absolute limit, sometimes the only thing you can do is stand up and fight. And that's exactly what Ozzy did, not just for his music, but for himself. He found life again, after all the pain and all the losses. And now, he's not just a music legend, he's a symbol of resilience and spirit. So ask yourself this: is there something in your life you want to change? Some habit that's holding you back? Think about it. We can't change the past, but we can take responsibility for what we do next. Start small. Make one healthy choice today. Because like Ozzy showed us, life doesn't have to be perfect. But if you keep trying and you don't give up, you will find the light at the end of the tunnel. Let's look at Ozzy's journey as a reminder that health isn't just about medicine. It's about how we treat our bodies and our minds every single day. Final moments and cause of death. In his final years, Ozzy Osbourne battled not just Parkinsons disease, but a number of serious health conditions. And yet, what's truly admirable is that he was never alone in that fight. He had the unwavering support of his family, especially his wife, Sharon Osbourne, who wasn't just his life partner, but also his longtime manager. Along with their children, they were by Ozzy's side through the toughest moments, giving him strength, love, and a reason to keep going. Even when everything got incredibly hard, despite his declining health, Ozzy never gave up on music. He continued to show up for performances, maybe not with the same energy as in the old days, but his fighting spirit was always there. Whether he was appearing at small events or taking the stage, every moment was a reminder of his resilience. Parkinson's may have affected his ability to move and speak, but it never stopped him from connecting with his fans. He kept creating, kept showing up, and kept inspiring generation after generation. As for his passing, Ozzy Osbourne died on July 22, 2025, after a long struggle with complex health issues, including Parkinson's, heart conditions, and the lasting toll of a hard-lived life. While the exact cause of death hasn't been officially confirmed by his family, it's clear that his body had been through a lot. The combined effects of these illnesses were simply too much. His death wasn't just a loss for his family. It was a heartbreaking moment for millions of fans across the globe. So, how did Ozzy's passing impact the music world? That's an easy one. Ozzy Osbourne was one of the greatest creative forces in the history of rock. He wasn't just the lead singer of Black Sabbath, a band that pioneered heavy metal. He was a cultural icon. Songs like Crazy Train, Iron Man, and Paranoid didn't just top charts. They became anthems that defined entire generations. He paved the way for a whole new style of music and lifestyle, showing that wildness, rebellion, and originality were the ingredients of a true legend. On the family side, Sharon Osbourne released a heartfelt statement, sharing her deep gratitude for the time they were able to spend with him. Her words, along with those from their children, reminded the world that behind this rock, God was a deeply loved man surrounded by a devoted family. Their loss isn't just personal. It echoes across the entire music community. People who admired and loved Ozzy felt the pain of losing someone who had been part of their lives, their memories, and their music. Ozzy's death didn't just mark the end of a man. It marked the closing of a chapter in the history of classic rock. But here's the thing, his legacy, that lives on. His songs won't fade. His story won't be forgotten. Ozzy Osbourne, the man who lived fully, who faced brutal challenges head-on and never backed down, will forever inspire fans and ears alike. In the end, Ozzy Osbourne will always be remembered as more than just a music legend. He was a symbol of resilience, of strength, of fire that never went out. His life proves that even in the face of pain and adversity, we can still stand tall and do something great. We'll remember Ozzy, not just for the music that still echoes in our hearts, but for the spirit of a fighter who never gave up. Public reactions. As soon as the news of Ozzy Osbourne's passing broke, a wave of emotion poured in from family, friends, and fans around the world. Ozzy wasn't just a music legend. He was a fighter, a symbol of resilience who never backed down from life's challenges. His wife, Sharon Osbourne, shared an incredibly moving message filled with grief and gratitude. She said Ozzy was not only a legendary artist, but also a wonderful husband, father, and friend. Even during his final years battling serious health issues, the love from his family remained his greatest source of strength. Sharon made it clear, Ozzy's courage and strength weren't just part of his public image, they were who he truly was at his core. Her words reflected not just the deep loss for their family, but also the immense admiration they held for him. Many of Ozzy's friends, especially fellow musicians, also shared heartfelt tributes. Legends like Elton John, Lemmy Kilmister from Motorhead, and Gene Simmons of Kiss all paid their respects. They remembered Ozzy not just for his talent, but for the unstoppable spirit he brought to life. Elton John, a close friend of Ozzy's, wrote in a social media post, "Ozzy was a warrior. I was proud to call him my friend. No matter what life threw at him, he gave everything he had, to music and to living fully." And then there were the fans. Generations of people who grew up listening to Ozzy and following his music turned to social media, tribute events, and memorials to share their emotions. Millions of heartfelt posts poured in, describing how Ozzy's music changed their lives. For fans of Black Sabbath, Ozzy wasn't just a rock legend. He was a symbol of freedom, rebellion, and raw strength. His music was a lifeline for so many who felt lost, misunderstood, or alone. Ozzy gave them something to hold on to. Through the thundering chords and fierce lyrics, he helped people find their voice. Ozzy Osbourne's death isn't just a loss for his family. It's a loss for the entire music world. From Crazy Train to Iron Man, his songs are anthems etched into the very soul of rock history. He revolutionized heavy metal, elevating it and laying the groundwork for millions of artists to follow. His music wasn't just loud and rebellious. It was filled with messages of strength, grit, and never giving up. Even though Ozzy's no longer with us on stage, his voice will never be silenced. But Ozzy's story goes beyond music. It's a powerful lesson about perseverance. His life reminds us that no matter how tough it gets, there's always strength to be found. His journey through addiction, illness, and personal struggle is proof that resilience is real and that we can keep going, even when the road feels impossible. Ozzy isn't just a hero to rock fans. He's a hero to anyone who's ever had to fight to survive, to find meaning, or to hold on when everything felt like it was falling apart. He may be gone, but his legacy will never fade. Every time we hear a Black Sabbath song or one of Ozzy's solo hits, we'll remember the man who lived with passion, fought with heart, and inspired millions with his music and his strength. Thanks so much for watching this video. Drop your thoughts in the comments and feel free to share your favorite memories of Ozzy. He may not be here physically, but his music and spirit will always live on in our hearts. Throughout his life, Ozzy Osbourne faced countless health battles, from addiction and multiple surgeries to Parkinson's disease. And even though his health declined in his later years, Ozzy's unbreakable fighting spirit never faded. It became a powerful source of inspiration for everyone who followed his journey. Sure, illness and pain took a toll on his body, but they never took his soul. Ozzy kept standing strong. He kept giving everything he had to music and stayed connected with his fans until the very end. His passing is an irreplaceable loss for his family, his friends, the music industry, and for millions of fans around the world. But in a way, his death also reminds us to reflect on the legacy he leaves behind, not just in legendary songs, but in the resilience he showed throughout his life. Ozzy wasn't just a music icon. He was a symbol of strength, rebellion, and never backing down. Ozzy's legacy goes far beyond the powerful riffs of Black Sabbath or his iconic solo albums. He left a deep and lasting mark on music culture itself. His songs became anthems, defining moments in rock history, and his bold, fearless performance style inspired generations of artists. Ozzy helped reshape heavy metal and made rock music a permanent part of pop culture. Even in his most difficult moments, when his body was failing him, Ozzy never gave up on music, the thing he saw as his life's mission. And that's what made him more than just a rock star. He was a true warrior in the world of music. Everyone who ever loved Ozzy will remember him, not just for his talent, but for the inner strength he passed on to all of us. So here's our final tribute to Ozzy Osbourne. Thank you for living with passion, for giving us music that will never be forgotten, and for leaving behind a spirit that refuses to fade. Though you're no longer here with us, your legacy and your fight live on in every chord, every lyric, and every heart you touched. Ozzy Osbourne will forever be a legend, an eternal symbol in the world of rock. Farewell, Ozzy. You'll always be a part of us.